Hello again, welcome back. It's John from Castle Kingdom. Now, I've had a couple of comments from people, in fact I've had quite a few comments actually over the years, asking me what I do when I get a damaged bouncy castle. Now by that I presume they mean if I get a tear in it. Now I've got a couple of castles that do have tears in it, and the traditional method of fixing them is with a glue and a patch. That's the way I've always done it. This is the kit I use here. It's an old BT one. The glue's actually quite old now, it's probably gone a bit hard. It came actually with the castles. I'm not sure if they still do it. These were a few years ago when I bought these. But you get the little patches like this, so you match it to the actual castle colour you're going to be repairing. In this case I'm going to be using a blue colour. And then you get a little knitting needle and some thread, and you just thread it through if you're going to be doing it with the stitching, or you just glue a patch around it bigger than the area of the hole, press it on and just put some weight on it and let it set overnight. Now there are a couple of other methods of doing it. One of them, somebody asked me, have I ever used tear aid, something like this. Now this isn't actually tear aid, it's called TPU clear repair tape, but it's pretty much the same as far as I can gather. I looked at some reviews on it and it said it's pretty good. It's just a bit tricky getting the backing off it. So I've never used this, but I'm going to be using it on this repair here. So we're going to go and have a look at it. Now this has got a couple of tears in it, this one. Here's the first one. That's been there a while, that one. I meant to do it last year, I never got round to it. And then there's one I did do in a previous video earlier on this year. It was a little L tear. Coming through a gate, there was a little nail at a low level which I didn't see, and it caught on the castle. So turn it over. They should both be visible because it's on the underside of the castle. I just did see it a minute ago, so it's here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Look, it's on the corner there. So we'll have to run. It's not a big rip, like I say. It's only probably about an inch, 25mm, but it was right low down. As you can see, I had this was the bottom, sitting on the trolley. And as I went through, I was just trying to manoeuvre it in. There's a little nail straight through. Not really the customer's fault, even though I did curse the customer a little bit for nails there. The way around that is, as previous people have said in comments, always put them in a bag when you're transporting them. But the thing is, on some of these castles, they're big enough to get, quite tricky to get through anyway. If you put a bag on them, it's going to be too big, and you're still going to be struggling to get it through, and it could still tear the bag and actually go through and tear the castle. So the best way to do it is, if it's a wooden gate, have a quick sort of glance over it, quick visual, see if it needs any nails removing. But generally when you're in a rush, you just try and pull it in as quick as you can. You've got another job to go to, and this is what happens. Anyway, that said, we've got two tears on this castle, not big ones. They don't fail on the test. I have these tested annually, as long as the pressure's okay, and they're on the ground, so there's actually the pressure sort of held in. If it was on the bottom of the castle, or rather the bouncing area, then you would obviously need to have that checked over and make sure that the air pressure was fine. But if they're underneath, generally because they're on the floor, it holds the tear sort of in place, if that makes sense. But obviously it's going to get bigger over time, so you need to repair it. Anyway, like I say, the old way of doing it, I should just cut a patch bigger than that, put the glue around it until it's tacky, and then just press it on. And then what I'll do, I'd put some weights on it. If I've got a sandbag, I just put the weight of a sandbag on there, and that would just hold it in place. Leave it overnight, and then in the morning it should be okay. I generally do these in the autumn and sort of winter when I'm not as busy. Obviously in the summer months, if you get a little tear, then obviously you could do that as well. But on this one, it's not too big. I've got two castles like this. There's another one with a bigger tear that's been patch repaired, glued, but the actual patch has come off. It's been caught on something and it's taken it away. So on this one, we're just going to be doing the little patch repair on it. Right, so we'll get the straps off. Right, so I've flipped it over, so it's upside down so I can see both tears. There's the one I've done recently, and here is the existing one, which is not such a bad tear really, but obviously it's still going to need to be repaired. So, first things first, we're going to put it out of breath there. We're going to clean the area that needs repairing, so we just spray it with a bit of grease remover. Got them in those buckets there. and just spray it on, give it a wipe down with an old towel, and then we'll cut and apply the patch. Now, as I say, the old method would be with a patch and the glue. So you'd apply the patch to both sides, on this side of the patch and on the hole. So what I would normally do, I'll put it over, obviously it's the yellow one, but I do have a blue one in there, but it's just a yellow round one that came with the BT kit. You put it round, draw it round with a pencil or a pen, just a mark, and then you apply it to there and to the patch, but make it slightly wider than the hole, wider than the diameter of the hole. That way you know it's going to get all the edges. And you would just press it down firmly like that, and then put a weight on it, a sandbag or something like that, and leave it 24 hours. Now I've just checked the weather, I'm going to be leaving this overnight here, so it's going to be dry. Should be alright for tomorrow then. But we're not using the old method, we're using the new method, which is this stuff here. Now I don't know how this is going to come out because I've never used it, but I read the reviews, people said it's pretty good. You can use it for repairing swimming pools or hot tubs, that sort of stuff. But what they did say was a bit tricky getting the backing off it, so we're going to see now. As I say, I've never used it, first time for everything. So we're going to clean it. Now I've got a bit of surgical spirit, I can use just ordinary cleaner there, spray it on the patch. It's not too bad, mainly to get the grease off so it does stick properly, so we'll just go over that. Any dirt off it. Well, that's cleaned it up already. I'm going to go over it with a bit of surgical spirit. It's alcohol. Grease off it. Now you can buy this anywhere, in any chemist or something that'll have it. Boots, buy it online. I think in the States they call it rubbing alcohol. If you've ever done a repair on your car, that's what they use to clean up the grease off it. Rubbing alcohol. We call it surgical spirit. I think it's the same thing. Anyway, it should be nice and clean. Then we just get our patch. It's got a little green backing on here. There we go. So we just make it bigger than the patch we need, like that. So that'll be enough. And it does go clear, I think, this stuff. I'll just cut it there. Cuts with scissors quite well. It is very flexible, so I hear. So I think it was £15. I'll leave a link. I got it off Amazon. They did have tear aid on Amazon, but you only got sort of certain patches, certain size, and because one of mine is really a big tear, I needed a length of it. That's why I chose this one. They're pretty much the same thing, I believe. Now, if anyone's put a screensaver on their phone, I think this is much the same. Hold it with one hand like that. It is very sticky. I've got that on my thumb now. And just come across the patch like this. Back. Try not to get any bubbles in it. Go straight over it like that. A few little bubbles, which I'll pull back. So that looks pretty good. It's a little bit of a bubbled up there, but the actual patch, I've got it. And it's gone down at the edges pretty good. So cleaning it, I don't even think you'd need to weigh that down actually. That might be alright as it is. It looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. Coming close. So that's it there. So I've just rolled it off the backing paper there, put it on. It's got a couple of, like I say, little bubbles there. Obviously, if you ever put a screensaver on your phone, it's a bit tricky until you get the hang of it. I probably could take that up and get them bubbles out, but it's probably not really that important. The actual tear, which is there, it's covered it. So I'll see if I can go back a little bit. See if we can get those out. Pushing it down. It's not flexible. There we go, that's got them out. Now hopefully that's going to stick on there. And it goes clear, so you don't need to have the coloured patch. That's the actual beauty of it. It stays whatever colour the castle is. So that's that one. Now we'll go over to the other one. Now like I say, I've always used this before, but it is a bit fiddly and it gets all over your hands, and it sometimes the corners lift up. People have asked me have I used this. The answer is no, I haven't, but this is the first time. But now this one's on a bit of a bumpy bit on the castle, so I'm going to give this a good clean as well. Because it's the underside, obviously that's where all the dirt is. I do use ground sheets on my castles, but obviously they still get dirty. As I say, this was the one that got caught in the summer there. I was really busy. It was in July, I think it was. I was very busy, and it just caught on the nail. I mean, they're a good customer as well. They have used me quite a lot of times. I told them what had happened, and they did apologise, you know. But you know, it's just one of those things that happens. Social strip, can't see much. Need a little dropper on it, really. That should take any grease off there. Length on this one. And as I say, this one come in a, I think it was 300mm or 30cm roll of it, so it's quite handy. If you've got more than one, whereas I think the tear aid came in a certain patches, like you got all those similar patches here. They come in various sizes, but I thought if I don't have one big enough, it's going to be a bit of a problem. And obviously when you order them online, you don't know. If you're going in a shop, that's fine, but when you order them online, you don't know the size, and I didn't give you an individual dimension of each one, so I thought if I buy a roll, that way I can just add it to what I want. So anyway, it's going across it. It's wide enough, as you can see there, the diameter, just. But that should do. So what I'm going to do, if we've got a seam here, we'll run it from the seam along like that. And that way we will know it's covering that patch. Actually, I might just bring it up from the seam, so it's like that. It's not, like I say, a big one, so I'm going to go there, cut about 100mm off, which is about there. Quite easy to cut. I thought I might need a Stanley knife on this, but saying that, there you go. Yep, just cutting all of it. Now people did say in the reviews when I looked at this, they said it's a bit tricky getting the backing paper off. Now I had that little bit that lifted up on that piece here, but I don't have that on there, so I've got to just try and mess around a bit and try and get it. Oh, I've got it already, so it wasn't that bad. So you can do it in one go or just peel it off, however you want to do it. It is very sticky. I'm just going to do it a bit up from that seam, push it down. Ooh, it's very sticky. Like that. So that's the second one on. It is quite flexible by the look of it. It's got that little L shape. People say it's pretty good, very durable, so that was one of the reasons why I went for it. I don't know if you can see that, we're coming close again. So we've got it on there. Obviously you can have creases in your castle depending on where the tear is. This one's a bit awkward because it's got the actual climbing bit. It's a bouncy castle with a slide, this one, and there's climbing blocks inside, which is what these are, so I can't actually flatten them down anymore. But as you can see, the L shape, we've got it there, no bubbles. It doesn't seem to be a lifting on the corners. A little bit there. Hopefully that'll be all right. Nice and clear. It does away with the actual trying to match the castle with the patch, because you can never really get, depending if you get it from the same manufacturer, the shade's always out. Though it's on the bottom, it doesn't really matter, but if it was on the top, it could be a bit of a problem, really. But that looks all right. I'm quite happy with that. That's two on there. If you've got a tear, say here, a stitch repair that needs doing, it's come loose or there or whatever, you can use this. Now it feeds through it, and then you loop it around. Now there's a little technique in doing it. I have got a castle that's got a little tear in it, and I'm going to use this rather than send it off to be repaired. It's a two-part obstacle course, and when they go from the obstacle course onto the slide, it gets a lot of foot traffic, and it's kind of about an inch. I noticed it a while ago. It's about an inch, and I could either put that tear aid on it, or I could do a proper stitch repair, and I think I'm going to use this. I have seen someone use it before on leather. He's repairing a leather bag, and I thought it might probably work with the bouncy castles. So I'm going to try that out. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments and I'll do that. And that's another way. So that'll be 3 methods: the old-fashioned glue method, the tear aid method, and the old method, which is an oil. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching the video. We'll leave these out overnight and we'll come back in the morning, just give them a double check, and then we'll put them away again. But I'm hoping that they should be alright. First impressions, they're pretty good. So like I say, I'll leave a link below, and if you want to check it out, I think it was about £15 for 3 meters, which isn't bad. So you can, if you've got a few tears in your castles or whatever. Apparently it does swimming pools and hot tubs and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty good for that. But it also does bouncy castles, anything that's kind of vinyl based. I don't think records, but pretty much anything else. Anyway, as I say, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.